ado, here it is. Feral Druid PVE Guide by Raven and Kitty. Now, make sure to get gear as critical strike and multi-strike on it. That's what we want. And always socket critical strike everything. Gems, your gear, everything. You want crit. More crit, more hits. Harder hits, I should say. So, we're going to focus on rotation. So obviously make sure you're buffed up. And before I go into that, I'm going to go over talents. Now, they can be different depending on which fight you're going to do. But, well, I just place your beast. Normally, I have Wild Charge, okay? Because this is one of the best ones to have because it will put you where you need to be. Right behind the boss. You know, if you're out of the way, you need to jump behind the boss, it'll get you there. That's what you want. So, take Wild Charge, I would. Ysera's Gift, basically it just heals you for 4% of your health constantly. So this is what I take. This is just good for PvE. You know, the other, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really up to you. And these three don't really matter at all. This is pretty much PvP. Incarnation. Go for Incarnation. King of the Jungle. This is a hands down, this is what you want. And it's a very powerful spell. You want this. The only reason you'd ever pick Soul of the Forest is if you find yourself being starved of energy. But that shouldn't happen if you do it correctly. Then after that, you know, another one. This doesn't matter as much, you know. I usually take Mighty Bash because this will help with, you know, hitting mobs, bashing them. That's what I go for. But once again, these are just whatever ones you want. Now, for this, it could depend on the raid and depend on what fight you're doing. I always pick Heart of the Wild in case I need to, you know, I get low and I need to toss heals on myself, keep myself alive, or I need to go into emergency tank mode. That's what it'll work for Feral that way. Nature's Vigil, it can help if your healers need help on a fight, then that's good to take. So it depends. Like, these are fight specific. Now I'm gonna go down to the level 100 talents and what I feel very strongly on. Now this could take some time, especially for someone that's new to Feral or hasn't done this before. Now, Claws of Shalivra, you don't want this. This is for PvP, but even then, I just don't think it's that great. It's not that great of a talent. It's worthless for PvE. PvP, it can be good. Lunar Inspiration, it gives you an extra button to push. A Moonfire, it's not that great. But Blood Talons, casting Healing Touch gives you 30% additional damage for your next 2 abilities. So 2 melee to your next 2 melee attacks or whatever. Now, you want that because as soon as you get your free proc of this, you want to hit it and it'll trigger. Now, I'll show you just on this dummy how you would open with a fight. If you can do this, you can manage it. Toss a Healing Touch on yourself before they pull. This will give you the buff. Go like this. Get yourself into stealth. You always want to start out stealthed. So when we go up to the fight here, and you're going to go up to it and open like this. So you open. This gives you a bunch of Savage Roar, which you always want to keep up all the time. So once you get all your combo points, you're gonna rip, shred, and hit right there. Hit Blood Talons again. Now, what I'm doing right now, I'm not really paying. Not right now. I'm just talking to you. I'm not paying attention. But see how I'm hitting. Now, the most important thing to do is keep up Savage Roar. You see it starting to get low. Always keep this up, because if this falls down, you're gonna lose 40% additional damage across the board, and you don't want that. That's bad. Okay, so you always want to keep your bleeds up at all times, but only put rip up when you have 5 combo points. Make sure of that. So I have 5 combo points, so I'm going to rip. Now, if you need to hurry up, let's say you're low on energy and stuff, and you need to get it quick, you hit Tiger's Fury. It increases your physical damage done by 15% for 8 seconds, and it restores 60 energy. So let's see, look that. See, I'm low on energy. Now that just gave me back energy, so I can rip and rake again. So these are the basics here. Is keeping out you. So shred is going to be your spam, and rake and rip you want to keep up, and keep rip up on 5 combo points. Otherwise, it won't do as much damage. Now, what I'm going to get into are cooldowns. Obviously, you know, depending on the boss, you save it for a burn phase or whatnot. You should save your cooldowns, but in general, what I've done is I've macroed them together. You can do a macro where I have Incarnation and Berserk put together. So I hit this, and it puts them all, it activates both of them. And now, basically, as you can see, what Incarnation does, it gives you every time you hit Rake, it gives you constantly refreshes your Savage Roar, and you can also stealth while in battle. Not as it's neat, but that's not as important to do in PVE. PvP is really good too, though, actually. So anyway, now I'm going to get into the whole Blood Talons thing, okay? Now, to use this effectively, I'm going to show you right now. I just put a regular 5-point rip up and a rake. Okay, as you can see here, here's what it's ticking for. Still doing a good amount of damage here. Alright. And this 9,872 and 10,506. But we can make it do a lot better. Now this is where Blood Talons comes in, and this is where you really want to use Blood Talons, okay? So what we're gonna do, let's say use that up, get that predatory swiftness up, and then what you're gonna do, make sure you have 5 combo points. You hit it, get Blood Talons, rip, rake. There, and now look at how much more damage it does. Much more damage. So I call that a Blood Talon rake and rip. And you can keep, and what you want to do, well, see, I let it fall off, but this will keep lighting up every time. You always want to use it. Like, even when you don't need to refresh your rake and rip, use it anyway and do ferocious bites in between. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and just show you, okay? So just watch what I do. Alright. Get a regular rip. Rake. Alright. I got my better ones up. Hit it again. And I'm going to use Ferocious Bite with the 5 combo points. So you can keep doing that in between. Hit that. Ferocious Bite. Then it's doing 30% more damage. But now, oh, we're getting low, we're getting low. See, that's one thing you don't want to do though, is let it get low. So, what I'm trying to tell you, whenever you get your Predatory Swiftness, this is going to proc, and when you hit your Healing Touch, you're going to get your Blood Talons. And that's going to give you, you know, the more damage. So, what we want to remember with this, with Blood Talons, once you have your Blood Talons rip and rake up, in between, while they don't need refreshing, keep an eye on it though, don't let it get too low. You can use, you know, don't only wait until you need to refresh your bleeds. Always use this. Always use your procs and do a Ferocious Bite and an extra rake or a shred. Constantly use it in between. and your damage will be amazing. But don't forget to keep up your other procs. Now sometimes you might miss it and you may have to do a regular ripper rake, but that's okay. But keep it up as much as you can, and that's basically the whole blood talent thing and why it's so great. And then obviously, this is a target dummy, so I can't do it with this. But you're going to keep on with that rotation. And usually, ferocious